Hey, what's up, guys? We should be live now. What's going on? Hopefully, everybody had a wonderful Monday night of NBA DFS, MLB DFS. If you're watching college, whatever you went into it, I hope it was fun for you guys. Let's talk about this NBA DFS slate before we do that. If you don't mind sliding, hold on a second. If you don't mind sliding your finger over to the thumbs up button and pressing that, it is much appreciated. And then we will take off from there. So before we get into the actual, like just the stuff that we normally talk about, I just want everybody to realize that I feel your frustration with the NBA right now. I can't pop on Twitter these days or Facebook or anything like that and just watch, NBA DFS players frustrated and giving up on playing for the rest of the season, or at least till the playoffs come around. And I absolutely understand. It sucks. Like, we're over here trying to give advice on this stuff too, and so I promise you, I feel the same pain that you guys feel. It can be really difficult to watch and keep up with this stuff. Some days the number of sits, the fake injuries, the teams that are tanking and not even trying, can be very, very maddening these days. And I'm sorry to go on an early rant before we get into the plays, but I love the NBA. You guys know that. But some of these teams that are like half of their team isn't playing, and you got guys coming up from the G League that have no business being in the NBA, it can be really not aesthetically pleasing on the eyes, and it brings out some of the weirdest DFS predictability that there ever's been out there. Like last night in my lineup, DeAndre Bembry, or one of my lineups, DeAndre Bembry and Malachi Flynn outscored Siakam and DeRozan. Like, that should not happen. But the NBA is weird this year. I had a night 2 nights ago where I don't usually look at my scores till the end. I just figured I was cashing easily, and I didn't cash. Last night, I didn't think I was going to cash in anything. I cashed everywhere. Like, it's difficult, the predictability of stuff like this. So I don't know about you guys, but like on the nights that I lose, I feel like there's so many excuses to make. And on the nights I win, I don't always feel good about it. I feel like I didn't earn it and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. Like, I came out here yesterday, we talked about Cat, we talked about McLaughlin. And then Rubio and Russell, who were both highly doubtful, both become players. So like half the guys that we talked about on the show weren't really guys I was nearly as interested anymore. Like McLaughlin, like, was not even a thing anymore. And Cat definitely moved down, how it was ranking, towards the end of the day. So these massive score discrepancies that go along with it, guys, I just want you to know we all feel your pain. I'm right there with you. It is tough on most days. And if you can't pay attention, I understand why, some people are dipping. I've watched the contest sizes go down and everything like that. It can be a very frustrating sport. So just have a little a wine session on my part. I'll lead the rant and I'll be the whiner. But I'm sure some of you guys probably agree with me. All right, before we get into today's picks, today's show is brought to you by our good friend over at jazzsports.ag. So I know a lot of you guys are sports bettors. Incentive to try a new sports book. So Jazz has been around for a long time. Our promo code is 5-pack. If you use that to sign up and make a deposit, I can give you free 5-pack memberships. Again, the promo code is 5-pack. For anybody who makes a sizable deposit today of $500 plus, I will give you a free annual membership to the DFS 5-pack. If you are one of those, sports bettors that bets for decent money and you've been looking to make this, move or try something new, or if you just want a free membership, today might not be a bad day to do it. If you screenshot that deposit and send it to me, free annual membership is all you. Full year, all three sports. Weekly and monthly memberships up on the website. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. So let's talk about some of today's plays. And I'm going to take a look at my boy Giannis today at 10-7 against Golden State. So he's listed as questionable on DK, but he practiced yesterday. If they hadn't been playing the Kings on the back-to-back, he would have played the other day too. So it's not really a major injury or anything I think you guys should be overly concerned about. The way the slate's likely to break down, because almost every exact slate on NBA DFS these days breaks down the same way, you're probably going to be able to get like 3 big money players with the number of cheap guys that are going to be available to you. The upside of Giannis in this situation is massive. He had a little bit of a rough patch right there. I think he was trying to do a little deferring to teammates. He might have been just a little bit banged up, but this is an island game for the Bucks. They didn't play yesterday. They don't play tomorrow. The Warriors do not have the bodies to stop him. I'm sure Draymond will give his best effort, but Giannis has 4 inches on him. They don't have any real quality center to build that wall and keep him out of the paint. He looked like himself the other day against the Blazers, and he looked like himself against the Lakers after a slow start in that game and then not really playing much in the fourth quarter. So he looks like himself again. He's cheap. We're going to have multiple guys to spend up to. There is no Harden on this slate. There is no Luka. So for me in cash games, the upside of Giannis is too great that I want to make sure I get him in my lineup in this one. Next up, let's talk about Malachi Flynn. So, I mean, he's really one of the only reasons I made it into the money last night because I made a couple of bad pivots at the last minute. I was busy setting MLB lineups and didn't really try hard enough on my NBA lineup. So I made some bad plays, at least in my opinion. And Malachi Flynn was the guy who got me into the money. So I know a lot of people jumped off of him when he came off the bench. And I understand that. You know, there's a variety of ways to go. Every NBA DFS slate we have these days has like, I don't know, it feels like 75 viable players. So why take a less than stellar NBA player coming off the bench? I stuck with him. Wasn't sure how it would work out, but I did watch a lot of the Wizards-Raptors game. And he just looked like a guy relishing the opportunity to take this role. Now, what's up with Fred VanVleet today? I have no idea. I have absolutely no clue if he's going to play. If Fred VanVleet plays, then Malachi Flynn becomes nothing but a deep sleeper. They got a couple other guys who might potentially be able to come back today. Watch for that. They might also sit some guys. We don't really know what's up with these teams today. It's the problem with making these videos early, but you have to make them so people can watch them. And if we make them in the afternoon, nobody has the opportunity to watch them. So it's kind of a catch-22 right here. If Fred VanVleet is out, I will lock in Malachi Flynn. I don't care if he's coming off the bench. Give it the eye test. Give it the score test over the last 2 days. He's playing like a guy with a lot of confidence. I have the feeling this should be a game tonight. LA at Toronto. That's my best guess. I expect him to play good minutes. He looked like a little spark plug off the bench last night. If Fred VanVleet is out, I will lock in Malachi Flynn. I don't care if he's starting or if they stick with Bembry in the starting lineup. Does not matter to me. At sub 4K, he is playing with a ton of confidence. Is he going to replicate last night's score? No, probably not. But I do think 25 DK points is very, very feasible in this situation. Is it possible we get better punt plays? Absolutely. It's very, very possible. The day is young. The day is early, but we got two sports. And unfortunately, the NBA doesn't come out with a lot of this news till later in the day. And again, I will reiterate, I spend enough time on Twitter and I see enough whining and bitching. Hell, I'm part of that. I understand and I feel your pain. It is getting really, really annoying how the NBA is playing this out this year. I am a firm belief that they need to do something because if I was the kind of person that went to a lot of games, I would not enjoy going to a game not knowing if guys are ever going to play. And it is. It's a tough state of things. All right, next up, Nikola Vucevic at 8,700. So this is the guy I don't think we have any worries. He's going to play. The Bulls are going to play him. The Bulls are playing to win. Give me Vuce at 8,700. No Thies tonight. Why is that important? I don't know, more potential minutes for Vuce. I'm sure some will go to him, some will go to Thad, some will go to Markkanen, but it can't hurt him. It definitely can't hurt him. He's shown steady improvement with his new team. You know, this should be a competitive game. Doesn't mean it will be. I mean, some of the discrepancies in these games lately is absolutely bewildering. But this should be a game. I would expect it to. These are two teams with a lot to play for, trying to get into the playoffs or remain in the playoffs. Sub 9K, developing chemistry. Zach LaVine is a little banged up and doesn't really look like himself lately, so should be Vuce's team to ride tonight. Sabonis is questionable. That doesn't really matter to me in this one, but there's a couple of questionable games in the guys for the Pacers. It's hard to break this game down 100% without knowing about that. But either way, I do expect it to be a competitive game in Indiana. So I think Vuce is going to be popular tonight for good reason. And he is somebody that I'm interested in all formats. All right, so I got another center that I think comes in as a little bit more of a long shot, but really only a long shot based on low expectations for ownership. And that's Enes Kanter of the Portland Trailblazers. Now, early in the day, I'm seeing him projected for single-digit ownership. It's entirely plausible that might go up today. I don't know if everybody knows about that Nurkic is out. Some people may, some people might. This one could go up. It could stay the same. I have absolutely no idea as of right now. But you do get Enes Kanter, who should be the starting center today for only 6K. I'd rather go after the Clippers in the paint. I like Zubac as a player, but he is not of the same defensive caliber that some of their wing defense with, Kawhi, Paul George, potentially Beverly, and things like that. So the Blazers are a team with plenty to play for. The West is tight as a drum. Every game means something if you're trying to position yourself for a better seed. I think he's not getting enough love. This is a guy who was regularly tossing up monster performances on this price tag. He got a little bit of a price bump down because he's been playing off the bench and Nurkic has been working his way back into the rotation. I think 6K is a real nice price for him. And this is definitely the kind of game that you think Kanter would relish, where he gets an opportunity to re-enter the game with the starters and go back to that workhorse mode, getting rebounds and putbacks and things like that. All right. Last play, long shot. Kelly Oubre of the Golden State Warriors, 6,400, small forward, power forward eligibility. So my Bucks are in Golden State tonight. I believe this is game 4 of a longer West Coast road trip. If the Warriors are hitting shots, i.e. Steph and, Wiggins and Oubre and the boys, this game's got a lot of potential for monster DFS scores. If the Bucks are on fire from 3 and Golden State's not hitting it, this one's going to get blowouty. But with the modern NBA, we don't really know who's going to be hitting their shots today. I expect my Bucks to win this game, but if this game is close and competitive, I think Oubre's got big potential tonight. So this one breaks down to a point that you guys have heard me bring up over and over and over and over again. I'm sorry I keep bringing it up, but it works a lot, so I will continue to bring it up, and that is the Mike Budenholzer defensive philosophy as a coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, which is to take the under on the screens and to give people wide open threes. Well, Oubre, as we'll say it nicely, a mediocre three-point shooter, is going to get open threes tonight. This reminds me of the other day we brought up Robert Covington. I said he would take 10 or more three-pointers. He did. Now, his DFS score was only okay because he didn't get any blocks and steals, which is highly unusual for him, but I think he took 11 threes that game. I'm not going to call for Oubre to take double-digit three-pointers, but don't be surprised if Oubre takes double-digit three-pointers. Now, where are they going to go in? I have no idea. I have no way to control that. I have no way to guess on that. I don't know. They might not. If they go in, that's where the long shot play comes from because he's going to get open threes. Now, obviously, he's going to put up some DFS points in other areas. He'll make a couple two-pointers. He averages 6 rebounds a game, a steal a game, assist and a half, and things like that. He's a little pricey, so I don't think a lot of people want to go there. His confidence should be high coming off one of his better games of the year. This all comes down to him hitting those wide-open three-pointers or not, and quite frankly, we'll see what happens. But I don't think he gets a lot of love today, stuck in that mid-tier. And this is a guy that we've seen multiple times this season, 6 or 7X or better off this price tag. So he's capable of upside. He just doesn't hit it on a very routine basis. Throw in the fact that Steph Curry, as their best player by a distant margin, is going to have to deal with Jrue Holiday defense all night long. And I just think it's even more likely that he's seen some wide open three-pointers. So that's what we got for today, guys. Don't hesitate to hit the thumbs up button. Remember, if you make that deposit today over at jazzsports.ag, if you make a sizable one, I'll get you a free membership to the 5-pack for an entire year as a thank you from us to you guys. Best of luck with everything today, and we'll be out later talking baseball.